I got my buddy Joey Locke up here, sometimes known as Roger Dale in the music business. How's your musical career coming right now? What are you doing?
It's going great. Been writing the last few years, and just got through with a video. Very excited about the video, and got a
different from the one we've got.
No, actually, it's the one that you have.
We're about to show.
Yeah, okay. And I got a new album coming out here around September, and the video and the song, that's our first release.
Okay. You were just mentioning Tim Wilbanks, who used to live over at Canebrake, and he works with Randy Owen now.
Absolutely.
And you say you grew up with Tim.
I grew up with Tim. He's a Harvest boy, and we're like brothers.
Now, what's he doing? Is he just representing a few? He moved to Franklin, didn't he?
He did. He lives in Franklin, downtown Franklin, I believe specifically, and he's got a publishing company, which is
good for you.
Very good for me. Yeah. I mean, I've got hopefully a channel in, and he's also now getting into media and with this internet and artist related. And so it's going really good.
Yeah, we may have to go up and visit with him then, it sounds like. Yeah. And Jimmy Gill, City Council President, arrives in the studio this morning. Let's talk about your business now. We've known you for years, but you're a home builder.
Yes, sir.
And time's been a little tough for all the home builders. How's it coming these days?
It's really picked up here the last 4 months. My brother and I, Scott, remodeling has really carried us over the last couple of years. But like I said, the last 4 to 5 months, you can see access to money really starting to take place, and a lot of anxiousness out there. So we're starting to build some really custom homes now.
But now, before you got into that, you had aspirations of being a big league, major league baseball player.
Baseball. No.
How far did you get with that?
I was with the Houston Nationals organization, big league camp, 40-man roster. I played at the AA level against the Stars, and I had a shoulder injury. I'm a local boy, graduated from Sparkman High School, and was a fourth-round draft pick in '87. Gave it all I had, and but now I continue to train kids. I've done that for the last 19 years, and do off-season pitching, hitting, fielding, and agility instruction, and that's my therapy. So got a son that's hopefully going to go a little bit further than I did, and not just get a taste of it, but everything's going well.
You watching an All-Star game tonight?
Yeah. We'll check out the All-Star game and try not to go play a church softball. I got 5 texts. Are you coming tonight?
Let's talk about what happened back in April a year ago. You're living in Harvest. You got some damage. We got some video that we'll play. We shot from Sheriff Blakely's helicopter. We were the first people in the air that day and got this video coming over. What happened to your home and your neighborhood out in Harvest?
Yeah, it was, we were right in we're just south of Anderson Hills. And I mean, it was, I sat there and witnessed the tornado as it was traveling northeast, and it just clipped our house. So we had a lot of roof damage. A lot of vinyl siding damage, sucked out windows of the house. About a third of my property was huge trees, which ended up on my detached garage and then just laid out along the back of my property. Now, you didn't get injured during that? No, sir.
So how did you get injured? Because in this video that we're about to share with you folks, it's a great video, and Joey sent it to us about 2 weeks ago. We had to get him on the program to talk about it. And I said, well,
we thought you were injured in the tornado.
You must have been in the hospital or something, because I talked to you for a while. What happened to you?
Well, indirectly, I guess. I mean, I was affected by the tornado because I never would have been out fooling with all this debris. And so we were out and had about 7, 8, 9 piles of.
Was this right after the tornado?
This is the 5 to 6 weeks after the tornado. And I had wonderful friends and people from the local churches that were just fantastic in the area, but ultimately getting it off my property, we decided to burn them. So we had burned about 6 to 7 of these piles and had gotten down to the very last pile.
Very last pile of all.
Very last pile, and looking back, I mean, a rough way to get educated. The temperature had changed, the circumstances were different, it was a lot hotter this day. We had been burning in the morning and evening. Well, this time we ended up on a Saturday, got out there, and was going to burn about midday. And so we went to light the fire, and you've heard them call a flash or whatever. This was a little bit more than just a flash, but the fire just jumped on me and pretty much got me from about the middle of my feet all the way up above my knees, which I ended up having 3rd-degree burns and had to go to UAB. They mid-flight me there. And
So there's a lot of people around you when this happens, and they're trying to get the fire out.
Well,
Did you know stop, roll?
It's probably one of the toughest things I've ever faced. My son and I was out, just me and him, and he was riding his four-wheeler, and so it was just me. Mm-hmm. And but he tells me now he heard the explosion, the boom, which my neighbor did about 300 feet as well. But I knew I was in trouble because it just engulfed me, and so I did.
You did drop
and roll. Yes, ma'am.
Good, thank you.
And about that time, my son got up, jumped off the four-wheeler, and I just told him, I said, son, go tell Mom 911. And, I can see him right now just sprinting, and he had a pretty good ways to run. But anyway, I learned also, too, that the previous fire was in the area that we piled the last debris in. So we had new and we had old. And with the heat beating down, there was probably a gas cloud around it, because, we were using off-road diesel, and you've heard off-road diesel is not, flammable as, much, and it takes a while to burn. But
the kid from East Limestone died.
Yeah, absolutely, and that was awful, because I had, and there again, I'd been doing this, for 5 weeks. So I was out in flip-flops and shorts and, my sports shirt. And, I had some comments, which you'd be surprised how some of the comments I actually had. But anyway, and you can question yourself, but I don't think it would have mattered. And the young man that you brought up, he had fully clothed attire on, and it just happened to be a flammable type. Right. And it got on him, and he couldn't get it off in time. And, that was just...
So are you thinking because you had a shorts on, something like that, it was better for you?
Well, I think so. Because the type of clothes that I wear, are those Under Armours and some of those knit type stuff.
How scared did you get?
I was very scared. I couldn't believe it. I could not believe it. And I laid there, and it seemed like forever watching my son run. And then I got up, and I actually had to walk about 150 feet, and my skin from my arm, it was just hanging. Where the fire got me, my skin was hanging, and I just couldn't believe it. I just couldn't believe it. And I come around the corner of the garage, and the first person I see is my neighbor, and Ron Raby, just fantastic. Again, a lifelong friend of mine, and he heard the explosion. He was on the phone with 911, but that's when I believe my son didn't realize what happened. My wife didn't understand. She just thought the fire got out of hand, and my daughter. But that's when they first saw me, and that's when it really set in. And it was, it was.
So you immediately go to UAB?
Well, we're there. The fire department, everybody show up, and it's just a bad day. And the ambulance finally got there, and then all I could do was hear them talking and saying, we need med-flight. We need med-flight. And they asked me. This is a question you never think you're going to have to answer, Vanderbilt or UAB. Well, all I had ever heard was UAB regarding burns and things like that. So, but...
So you're able to answer them at this time? And the pain is so much you pass out?
No, I never passed out. I can remember the whole flight, but they really started drugging me.
So how did you get, being a songwriter and being in the music business forever, how did you decide to write a song about what enticed you to come up and say, I'm going to...
As I got back home, and it took a while, because they had me on some pretty strong stuff, but once I started coming off it just come to me, this idea, and... that the basic idea of the song is, I'm not no saint by any means, but I do, believe in Christ, and I believe that He helped me through this, and I believed it more then than I ever did before. And anything else that I feel like He brought me through, this was the worst thing I've ever dealt with, and so my belief in that was just so much more. And the title of the song is I Believe. Wake-up call. This was a wake-up call for me. We get up every day and we think every day's going to be the same old thing. Just like when I went out to light that fire, I thought it was going to light just like the previous fires. And, I had a rude awakening. And so wrote the song, recorded it in Nashville, and decided here to put it out. I've got it on my Facebook page, Roger Dale. It's on YouTube. You can also download the song on iTunes or CD Baby. Once I kind of recoup back some of the expense, I am going to be giving that song majority of the proceeds to some of the burn victims and some of the tornado things that are set up that we're now trying to research. And
what advice have you got for people today, not just burning fires, but you talk about don't take every day for granted?
Well, you know, the thing is, you know, different circumstances. You know, that day it was 88 degrees. You know, it was the middle of the day, the sun beating down on that. But, you know, I just got up, I just saw a pile of debris that I was tired of seeing, and, you know, I was ready to get rid of it. And so, you know, slow down and, you know, just take a little time to think.
What do you hope people take from a video that we're about to share with everybody, the first time on television?
Well, I mean, I hope that it gives them hope, you know, inspiration, whatever they're going through. Not just tornadoes, not just being burnt, but just, you know, we're going to take licks throughout our lives. I mean, we're going to all deal with, be faced with different circumstances, and just there's hope out there, and you just got to believe.
All right, we're about to share the video. Again, the name of the video is what?
I Believe, Wake Up Call.
I Believe. Now, Joey also did Local and Loving It for us years ago, so appreciate that. Joey, thanks for coming over. Good luck with building. Stay in touch with us. Get over here on a more regular basis.
Absolutely will.
If you see Randy, I want to tell him I'm still looking and did more stories on him than anybody else. All right, for the first time on television, we'll go now to that video. It is a heart-wrencher, too. It is a good one. Thank you again, Joey. Here it is, I Believe. We'll be back in a moment. Y'all, hang on.
There it is. It's coming down.
The last thing I remember, I was cleaning up the yard from the storm that came through Alabama and hit us all real hard. In a flash it all happened. It set my world on fire and knocked me down to the ground, lifting me higher. I believe there's a better day coming. We will rise and stand again. I believe the Lord will see us through like only He can. I believe so much more than before I ever did before. I woke up with the doctor standing at the foot of my hospital bed. My family and friends were by my side. We were all scared to death, and all I could do was close my eyes and begin to pray. And then I heard these words, Daddy, you're gonna be okay. I believe there's a better day coming. We will rise and stand again. I believe the Lord will see us through like only He can. I believe so much more than before. I received that wake-up call, reminding me just what life's really all about. I believe there's a better day coming. We will rise and stand again. I believe the Lord will see us through like only He can. I believe there's a better day coming. We will rise and stand again. I believe the Lord will see us through like only He can. I believe there's a better day coming. We will rise and stand again. I believe the Lord will see us through like only He can. I believe takes a wake-up call. May stumble, even fall, to remind us what life's really all about.